All right. Welcome to the show. This is the Frankly Fantasy Football Podcast. We are your hosts, Frankie and Johnny. You feel better now? You're ready? Now you're looking to week 3. You're not thinking about everything that happened in week 2.
That's
How
right.
you doing, man?
We can breathe. A few days have gone by, John. We can breathe. We can start mentally preparing for this weekend ahead of us. So yes, I am finally slightly over it. Slightly
over it, yes. Making plans for the future. We can grieve, but you always have to look forward, man.
That's right.
Welcome to the show. That's what today is. Today's show is looking forward. We're looking into week 3 here. Let's see what's going on. Thank you for everyone for joining us. Thank you so much for following us on YouTube, subscribing to YouTube. Please subscribe. Please smash that notification bell. It'll tell you every week, hey, Frankie and Johnny have something for you this week, guys. It's on right now. Go watch it. Also, follow us on Instagram. It's a great follow at Frankly Fantasy Football. Today, into our starts and sits, our smash or pass, otherwise known as our hit it and quit it.
I want you to hit it.
I do want you to, yeah, Frankie, come on. All right, man. Let's look at our starts for the week here. Oh, I just decided I wanted to play that again because I love it.
I'm not mad at you for it.
I'm not mad either, man. All right, let's talk about a couple of guys here. This is going to be just very conversational of a handful of guys that we like and why we like them. Why don't you kick us off here, Frankie?
Yeah, John, first guy that has continuously performed. And you might be thinking, well, no shit, this guy's going to be on a start list. But truly, if you're in an 8-man league, a 10-man league, something along those lines, we didn't want to do everything a super deep pull. So this guy, fire his ass up with confidence. It is Devonta Smith at Tampa Bay for the Philadelphia Eagles. John, the reason why I'm so high and why I think we're both kind of so high on it, I don't want to speak for you, but I think you're in the same camp. 15 targets, first 2 weeks. First and foremost, 15 targets. It's unbelievable, man. And then on top of it, guys, right now, Devonta Smith in half PPR, he's receiver 6, doing very well, has a really great connection with that of Jalen Hurts. And you know what's crazy? I didn't even know this. He's actually a captain on the Philadelphia Eagles, which I thought was interesting. Just another feather in the cap. I say that because of the vote of confidence he has over the team today. So really love this matchup. Devonta Smith at Tampa Bay, fire his ass up.
Yeah, I love it. I can't disagree there, man. I mean, the guy's been fantastic. He was wide receiver 16 in week 1 with a very, very struggling Eagles offense. I mean, really it was. And he still had 10 targets, 7 catches, 50 yards. This past week, a touchdown again. I mean, he scored a touchdown in each of the last 2 weeks. Absolutely. And that's exactly what Frankie said. This is for more shallow leagues, 8-man, 10-man. You're looking at studs to start every single week. What we're trying to tell you is Devonta Smith is a stud. He's
Definitely
moving into that 1A of the 1A, 1B conversation. He's been kicking the shit out of AJ Brown as far as targets and production so far. I don't see any reason for that to stop.
Yep.
All right. Who else you like this week, Frankie?
John, I love me some Jameer Gibbs, guys. He is playing at home against that of ATL Atlanta, the Falcons there. And the reason I like him is because, number one, we mentioned it earlier this week, John, in that episode with David Montgomery, banged up. Right? Going to miss some time. Jameer Gibbs is stepping in up to a prime opportunity. Didn't do a lot, honestly, through the rushing perspective last week. He only carried the ball 7 times for a very modest 17 yards. But here's what's fascinating. 9 targets out of the backfield, caught 7 of them. Huge volumes, huge opportunity. That rushing, floor is what you could say of what we've seen this past week is gone with David Montgomery not going to be in the lineup. So, John, I'm hitting that smash button on Jameer Gibbs because I think he's going to be phenomenal.
this is the week. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for with Jameer Gibbs. They've been slowly working him in. Every time you see him, he looks fantastic. You're like, my God, give him the ball. The only competition he's got is at Craig Reynolds. I think that's filling in for David Montgomery. I don't see a ton of production out of that. He's going to be a guy they're going to throw in between the tackles, I think. But yeah, Jameer Gibbs, this is why you drafted him. This is what we want to see. Now, if he doesn't perform this week, there's going to be major question marks.
Yeah,
it's going to be major question marks. But this is what we were hoping for. You have to fire him up. You have to get excited about it. I think it's going to pay off here for us. Absolutely.
Definitely, John. And the other thing to note is they did bring in Zonovan Knight. Right. They end up signing him. But guys, don't be like, I wouldn't even be worried about that at this point in time. It's going to be the Gibbs show with some trickling in of Zonovan Knight and Craig Reynolds for sure. John,
all right, who else you like, Frank?
Yeah, man. This next guy is Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker Jr. up in here against that at home against Carolina. This was interesting because I wasn't high on him going in this year. Zach Charbonnet was drafted in the second round. Wasn't really high on Seattle as a whole. Boy, oh boy, did they tell me to shut the hell up last week with this big win against Detroit. Huge win against Detroit. Guys, the reason why I like him is because look at what happened against Carolina with the Saints even this past week. If Tony Jones Jr. can score 2 touchdowns and have 15 points in fantasy football for half PPR, imagine what Kenneth Walker is going to be able to do. Guys, right now, Kenneth Walker, he had 17 carries for only 43 yards, but he found the end zone twice. This dude is sniffing around that end zone in that red zone. I really like this play, man, against that of Carolina, especially as a running back 2 or even a flex.
Yeah, he only averaged week 1. He averaged over 5 yards a carry, which was fantastic. But he didn't score, so it didn't help you out. He only averaged 2.5 yards a carry this last game. 17 carries, 43 yards. He struggled up. He struggled between the tackles basically. But they're finding ways to get him out in space. He scored twice. I'm not afraid of the matchups. The next 2 weeks look really good for him.
Yeah.
Carolina at home. Then at the New York Giants. I love that matchup as well. I do like Kenneth Walker. As long as he's healthy, last week he was the running back 12. It's a running back 1 for you on your team. You got to play him. Love him this week. Absolutely. All right, who else you got, buddy?
John, every time I say this guy's name, I want to start singing like Moana. For those of you listening and watching, right? I have 2 kids, right? I have a 4.5-year-old and a 2-year-old. So I watch a hell of a lot of Moana. All right. We want to go back and forth on Moana. Let's do it. So Puka Nacua. That's how I sound that. I know pronounce that. I know it sounds like terrible and I probably shouldn't, but it's fun and it's exciting. And so like fuck everybody else that has a problem with it. Okay. It's fun. Okay. Have some fun.
It's Moana. Moana Nacua. Moana Nacua.
Oh, that's really good too. And you know what I want to hear, John? Maybe we should get a bite that goes away, away, humami pukawa, just
you have watched that a lot. Oh my God, you know the song? Jesus.
I have the soundtrack.
That's how out of touch I am.
Oh, I have the soundtrack downloaded on my phone. Like, dude, I can go song by song. We'll do that next episode. I'll go song by song for Moana if Puka has another 20 target game. Okay. Puka Nacua, fire his ass up, man. 35 targets over the last 2 weeks. NFL record, right? They're playing at Cincinnati. Okay, this is going to be a very interesting game against Cincinnati because there's going to be a lot of opportunity here based on what we've seen from Cincinnati's defense. You look at what Lamar Jackson did with Zay Flowers and a few others, and you look at what the Browns did, right? Week 1, even in shit weather, Amari Cooper still even had a decent week. So, John, I really like Puka until he proves us wrong. Away, away, fire his ass up.
Puka Nacua is the wide receiver 3 right now in half-point PPR.
How crazy is that?
That blows my mind. That blows my mind.
It's brilliant.
We were making fun of guys for spending $50 on the half their fab budget on him.
Meatball. Meatball.
Shout out to Meatball.
Shout out. Guys, for those listening and watching, we have this stud of a human being who literally prefers to be called Meatball. And it's not because what is insinuated with when you call somebody a meatball. It's literally because he's a ball of meat, like hardcore muscle. Like he's a scary motherfucker, right? You don't want to piss him off. Meatball, we love you. Okay. So he ended up taking Puka Nacua for $43 in a bid system. And behind the scenes, people were like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And now it's just like, hey, Meatball, like, you want to trade, AJ Brown for Puka Nacua? You want to work something out? So yeah, shout out to Meatball.
Yeah, week 1, wide receiver 9. Week 2, wide receiver 5. I mean, 119
Brilliant.
yards in week 1, 147 yards. The guy hasn't even scored a touchdown, by the way.
That's crazy.
All of these fantasy points are without touchdowns, 0 touchdowns. And he had 18 fantasy points and almost 24 fantasy points. This guy's going to get in the end zone at some point. He's going to go to the mean. It's pretty incredible. Yeah. Enjoy it while Cooper Kupp's out, because once Cooper Kupp comes back, if he comes back and when the timetable they laid out for us, it'll be interesting. We'll have to wait and see how it goes then. But as of right now, full steam ahead with Puka Nacua. All right, Frank, who else you got here, buddy?
I'm going to do a deep pull here, John. And I would love to know your thoughts on this, but I'm going with Robert Woods at Jacksonville. Guys, the reason why I'm saying, Bobby Trees, baby. Bobby Trees making a comeback here. The reason being is because he continues to perform. Right now, he's number 40 receiver in half PPR. It's pretty high, but not that bad. He ended up having 8.7 points week 1, 10.4 points week 2, but he's the security blanket for that of CJ Stroud. So for me, man, I really like his floor, and that's why I wanted to put him on here. It's that you're not going to get more than likely a blowout game with 20 targets and 15 receptions and 140 yards like Puka. But what you're going to get is a nice solid floor. So if you're playing a couple high risk guys on your team, this is a perfect flex or a double flex to add in there in a deep league to get you an 8 to 10 point, 7 to 11 point range.
19 targets in 2 weeks.
19 targets in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you can't hate that. That's fantastic. Playing at Jacksonville this week, Pittsburgh next week. You're not going to want to do that, I'm sure. But I mean, in the right matchup, I think he could be a fairly safe kind of you can't expect a lot, but I think it's like you said, it's a safe floor play in your flex. Yep.
Totally.
I'd feel fine with that this week only.
Totally agree, John. And the next guy here.
Yeah, I love this guy. I love this guy.
I was going to say, this is, do you want to do this? You take this one.
No, I want to hear what you say, because I agree with it all. I'm 100% on board. I watched it on Monday night. It's Jalen Warren, guys. This is a guy I think you can start in the right matchups. Totally. I love it, man. We talked about him coming in and kind of working his way, just hustling his way, working his way into the lineup, earning carries. He's been doing that, and he looks 10 times better than Najee Harris. Najee Harris is going to be so annoying all season long. He's going to clog your roster. You feel like you have to start Najee every week, and I think you're just going to be disappointed. I really do. Jalen Warren's got the juice. He's got the juice.
John, he looks good, man. John, I'm talking like Jalen Warren, 4 receptions for 66 yards, 6 carries for 20 yards. Both of those are very good. I could see them trying to get this offense moving in the right direction. They're going to do a few more little dump offs and get him going from a receiving perspective. Again, we called it earlier this year, John. He's a very early on Austin Eckler-like kind of running back. And I think that is what we're starting to see. What he did against the Browns defense was excellent, and he's only getting better. Again, walking into week 3 against that of Vegas, it's a smash play if you're willing to take a risk. And if you have few like injuries and things along those lines, again, you're not going to start him over, right? Like Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson, I wouldn't even start him over Breece Hall, et cetera. So again, we're, bring it back to reality here. But if you need something along those lines, maybe even a DFS, John, interesting play there from a DraftKings perspective, get him a little bit cheap. So that's why I like that of Jalen Warren.
12 targets in the past 2 weeks for Jalen Warren, by the way. I mean, that's where he's making his hay right now. 12 targets, 9 receptions in 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, he took that role from Najee Harris.
Definitely. Definitely. And John, this last guy, I mean, we talked about him a little bit earlier this week. Kirk Cousins, fire his ass up, throw a couple chains on while you're starting him, show the wife what you got a little bit, get into the persona, because Kirk Cousins is out here throwing dimes, baby. He's playing against that of LAC, against the Chargers. They are, I believe, John, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they're starting off 0-2 at this point in time right now with the Vikings. So he's going to put this team on his back. He's going to continue to do this, and they are going to need to throw the ball in order to keep up with this high octane offense and that of the Chargers. So guys, if you have him on your bench and you have another starting quarterback in there right now, I'm looking at you, Burrow owners. I'm looking at you, those that might be looking at, Derek Carr or things of that nature. Flip the script, start Kirk Cousins, and reap the reward for this week.
Kirk Cousins is the QB1 on the season after 2 weeks, and he is the overall number 3 highest scoring fantasy player.
Wow.
After 2 weeks. That's crazy. What I always think of is that commercial, the script writing commercials with Keegan-Michael Key, and he's sitting at the table in the script writing, in the round table, and he's got no shirt on. He's got the ice all over him. And
James,
oh my God. And he's such a dork. Yeah,
he is.
But he embraces it that he's such a dork. That's what's great.
Oh, yeah.
I got more respect for him because of that. Yeah. I love it, man. All right, so who don't we like this week, Frankie? Who do you not like? Who are we sitting down? Who are we passing?
John. Oh, baby, we are passing. First and foremost, we are passing and sitting down on James Conner. Guys, James Conner had an excellent game against that of the Giants. He is also running back 13 right now in half PPR. He's doing very well. Last week, he had 106 yards rushing on 23 carries and a touchdown. This week, they are playing the Dallas Cowboys. Sit him down. Dallas is shutting down everybody so far. Again, it's only 2 weeks, but they look like the real deal. Micah Parsons off the edge, Leighton Vander Esch going absolutely crazy. Arguably the top 2 cornerbacks in the NFL with Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore. Guys, this is not a great matchup. If you have anything else, put him in, because the Dallas Cowboys are legit. John, I'm also going to go next here to that of Hollywood Brown, baby. Hollywood. So Hollywood is another guy I'm going to end up sitting at this point in time. He's also playing that of Dallas. Again, it's just not a great matchup, especially playing against these corners that I just mentioned. So if you have an opportunity, definitely look to sit down on that of Hollywood Brown, Johnny. John, for the sits here, man, I'm definitely going to be the first guy that comes to mind, right? Is got to be, actually, I'm going to lump 2 in together. It's going to be anybody on the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to lump in the entire team against that of the Dallas Cowboys at this point in time. John, we're talking James Conner. We're talking Hollywood Brown. We're talking Josh Dobbs, even though most people probably are not starting him. Like, it's just way too risky the way this Dallas defense is. They have Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs, Leighton Vander Esch, Micah Parsons. This defense is absolutely for real, and they're going against the worst team in the NFL. This could be a bloodbath. So for me, man, stray away from that of James Conner and Hollywood Brown. What do you think, John?
I think James Conner should come up with a little limp on Friday in practice and just say he's not feeling all that great and thinks he needs to sit out this week, coach. This is going to be an absolute ass whooping. It's going to be gross, man. There's a couple of games this week. That 49ers D and that Dallas D are just going to destroy teams this week, man. I mean, it's just, oh, God. Yikes. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Who else are you sitting down? Who else do we not like?
John, I'm going to go with Damian Pierce. Here. They're playing at Jacksonville. Really tough. 15 carries, 31 yards rushing last week against the Colts, which equates to just over 2 yards per carry. Don't see it getting better this week. Game script is probably going to be out. So therefore, Damian Pierce, if you can look elsewhere at this point in time.
Yeah, and nobody really with the Kansas City Chiefs last week, Pacheco didn't light the scoreboard up. They actually played pretty good run defense. And I don't disagree with that. If you have other options, you may not after losing guys, in your running back rooms. But if you can avoid Damian Pierce, I agree with you, man. It's been tough.
It's been real tough. And John, the next guy here, this is also going to be tough. They're playing against a really good defense. It's AJ Dillon versus the New Orleans Saints. We look at what Miles Sanders did, and he did not perform very, very well against this defense. This defense is definitely a top 5 defense, top 6 defense in the NFL right now. And with the Packers and how they've been, AJ Dillon hasn't been performing even with that of Aaron Jones has been banged up. So for me, man, I'm looking elsewhere. Keep him on your bench, especially for this matchup. Not super great. I don't know what you think about the Green Bay Packers. I like Jordan Love. I like the passing attack. Not super high on AJ Dillon right now, man.
No, I'm not high on the running game. I like Aaron Jones, but it's not because of his running. It's because of his receiving. And A.J. Dillon just really isn't getting that. And Aaron Jones could potentially play this week. Keep an eye on him. But especially with Aaron Jones playing at all, I just don't see A.J. Dillon with a ton of value. You got to hope for a couple of goal line carries and some lucky, touchdowns, which you can't really predict. I agree with you, man. Sit him.
John, and this last, I'm just going to, we already talked about it. I'm not going to harp on this. It's the Giants running backs as a whole against that of the 49ers. Guys, I just want to give you a snippet as to what the 49ers defense has done. In 2 games, 6 sacks, 4 interceptions, less than 600 yards, a little bit over actually 600 yards in total offense, but absolutely dominant from the point of attack. And I know that Matt Stafford, got in there and Puka did his thing, which, we already hit on Puka, Moana shout out. But I really think that against the Giants here, man, this is, if you have the 49ers, you're salivating. If you have the Giants running backs, you're not. And I'm telling you, that includes Saquon or not Saquon. Saquon is not going to be playing. That's why I'm saying that. And if he does, it's because he's banged up and he's hurt. Still would not be a great option here.
No. Waller's the only guy you can start on this team. I mean,
that's it, man.
Yeah, no way. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else you hate? You just love everybody else.
I just love everybody. Everybody love everybody except for Minkah Fitzpatrick. I'm sorry. I'll get over it. All right. Stop yelling at me. No, what, guys, enjoy
it.
I know we have a great starts and sits. Pay attention to these. Last week we hit on quite a few of these. So if you are debating between a few, who you need to put in, who you need to sit, do it. Watch this, listen to this, plug some of these guys in. If you also have questions, John, we're here to answer them. Send them our way.
That's right. Message us on Instagram. You should be following us anyway at Frankly Fantasy Football. Send us some sit questions. We won't just say the guy and that's it. We'll give you a reason why we think that you should start him or you should sit him or smash or pass. Kirk Cousins, by the way, all right, real life, not start or sit, real life smash or pass. Kirk Cousins.
I'm going to pass.
I'm going to pass too. Although, the one part of me that says smash is because he's like just a Magoo guy, a goody, like you kind of just want to be like, kind of want to smash,
He's going to hold the door open for you.
Just to give him, he'll buy me breakfast in the morning, exactly.
He's going to be the guy, pick you up some coffee in the next morning, and it's going to be already there waiting for you. That's exactly Kirk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Smash or pass Baker Mayfield?
Pass.
Really?
Yeah, pass.
I think it's smash. Smash.
Okay.
I just think he's going to give you his all, I think he'll give you his all and then smack you in the face after.
He's going to get you really pumped up afterward. Certainly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jalen Hurts, smash. Not even going to think about that one.
And I'm going to throw him in there as well.
And I'm going to throw him DK. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to go through my boy band here because we all know that's Smash City, baby. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Have a great week. Good luck to you this week. Good luck. Oh, my God. I hope to God those fantasy gods smile upon you. Bye.